We all know what we should wear to make us feel all feminine and all, all exuberant in color and etc, etc. But do we really understand the psychological effects that clothes have on even the negative spaces and even how we are conditioned as human beings? So join me right after this and let's talk a little bit more about the psychological effects of your clothing. Well, hello, and welcome again to the Black Swan Relationship Academy. My name is Unique Swanda, and I am your head coach as well as your style concierge here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy. Today, I decided to kind of take a bit of a deeper dive into something I am very passionate about. It's really the psychology and understanding our human behavior, and specifically attached to our dressing and the way you can tell about someone's fears and someone's things that they're hiding from just the way they dress and how they show up in the world. So again, like I say, my name is Unique Swanda. I will be doing a few more of these conversational videos that really dive into our psychology and the way we think, of the way we have been conditioned to think, and how to break some of those patterns to really unleash the goddess within you, or unleash the woman like you really want to be, because sometimes that's the only thing that's stopping us. We've done the work, the internal work, but it's now the psychological effects of what we attach to our clothing and how we've always been that kind of let us down. So before I go ahead into this discussion, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if anything, have a look at this video that I did some time ago, which talks about the psychological effect of clothing on your feminine journey. So let's get into it. Let me get a bit comfortable. And that's the one thing that at some point I'll address when it comes to clothing, when we talk about comfortability. So as I was saying, we normally know what makes us feel good about clothing, but sometimes we neglect the things that don't make us feel that good, that make us really close up, the types of clothing that we wear that really make us more demure and really hiding ourselves and not showing the world and showing up in who we really are. So just to kind of give you a little bit more background, I have a background in fashion. I am a fashion designer, as well as I did a marketing degree some time back, some eons back, and in London. And the one thing that we did when I remember back was always, which made me really not like retail shopping that much for a while. I didn't actually go into any retail shops because of this one very exercise that we had to do. We literally would sit outside either Primark or Primani or Zara, because my university was literally just off Oxford Street. It was a walk away from Oxford Street, so we would have to have a look at the high streets and look at the behaviors of customers and have a look at the items that they bought. Sometimes be brave enough to actually talk to them if someone walked out with a bag from Zara, and actually ask them why they bought what they bought, whether it was for an occasion, why we were shopping. And this is why sometimes I always tell you, ladies, be mindful of the times in your cycle when you're shopping. Be mindful of what you bring into the house and the negative energy that is attached to it. So in fashion marketing, we always look at behavior, and that is what really drives businesses. Trends are trends because of your consumer behavior. Things sell because of your consumer behavior. If all of us stopped buying clothing right now, like all millions of us, all billions of us on this planet Earth, the fashion industry would go bust. Just like we saw over the past few years, over the lockdown, a lot of high street shops closed. Like, I was even surprised, even Topshop, which is like one of the biggest brands we know here in the UK, and Debenhams, which is one of the biggest department stores that we know, they couldn't survive anymore because they didn't have humans walking in their shops to pick up things on impulse, to pick up things and buy. Because yes, they may have had an online strategy, but there's something about being in a shop that drives you to purchase what you purchase. So these are the things that sometimes that we have now associated with our negative times in our lives. This is when we go shopping. This is when we pick out things. And most of the time, because you're picking from a mindset that is already negative, you're going to be drawn to things that are negative, like attracts like, right? Or things, we always attract what we are. So in that space, if you're negative in that space, you're going to attract negative things that you think are comforting in that moment, but really are making you even feel lower, which is why you look at your wardrobe and you think, I don't have anything to wear, because you chose things when you're in a negative space. So anyway, I digress. Let me actually get into the psychological effect of clothing, of your clothing, of the clothing that you pick. And let's actually really talk about the things we have been conditioned. So there's certain colors, like by the right of you being born on earth, there's certain things that you're going to see, and something is always going to influence your style. Something is going to always inform who you are and how you show up in the world. And these patterns show up in us when we are now more conscious and we do the work, which is why we always say, do the work, do the work, do the work. And it's not just the work on the inside, but the work on the outside, which is why most of the time when you finish your courses, Sheng is like, go and see Unique or Style Concierge, because this is what I do. I help you to then realize the woman that you have now becoming. So what we tend to do, let's really dive into the things that we try and hide with our clothing, the things that we try and camouflage. Because as you well know, the patterns in which you grow up, or the way our parents were, the way our moms, the environments that we were raised in. I'll kind of talk about me a little bit. So I was brought up within the church space, and there's a certain way you dress when you're in that kind of environment. I had to stop wearing trousers at the age of 13 because the church that I was going to at the time, teenage girls were not allowed to wear trousers because it was very manly. It was perceived as that you're now come of age, so now you have to act a little bit more women. So that informed my being a woman. So me coming here to UK and seeing a lot of women wearing trousers and wearing jeans, it was a shock to my system, because I didn't even own a pair of jeans, I think, until I was like 21 when I came here to the UK. I may have had some jeans when I was younger, but even in the workspace that I was in, we always wore skirts, we always wore dresses. And I'm not saying that that's all women wear. Women can wear anything they want to wear, but all I'm talking about is the patterns that your clothing informs. So it's just to lay a foundation of clothing always informs who you are. Clothing, there's a universal, it's really about universal signals that we put out with our clothing. It's not, your clothing informs your identity. And identity is at the very core of why we show up as who we show up as. So what I'm saying here is we have to be very mindful, not only of the things that make us feel good, but also of the things that we put on when we're not in the best of moods. The shopping that we do when we are literally just about that time of the month, ladies, and you're feeling like you need some chocolate and you're feeling like you need all of this, and then we decide to go and do retail therapy, which really is not retail therapy in a way. It's more like covering a wound that needs to be sorted without really seeking the proper attention. It's like putting a band-aid over a shot wound. Like, you know, you have to go and see a doctor, you have to go see a therapist, you have to go see someone, and which is what I'm saying, you have to go and see a stylist, right? The Black Swan Relationship Academy stylist, which is more your girl. You have to come and see me, your style concierge, which then we uncover those layers of why you wear certain clothes the way you wear them. So I'll give you an example of some of the class. So even when we're having calls, I will have clients who wear long sleeve shirts. Personally, I used to do that because I've got these unsightly marks on my hand right here. And it's all happened when I was using a steam press and I happened to burn myself. But they look unsightly, and I'm very uncomfortable about them because sometimes they bring about conversations that I'm like, no, I did not do that to myself. No, not intentional. And I've had people looking at me as if maybe I was battered or something, but no, it was literally a genuine scars that happened when I was learning how to use a steam press. So that built up an insecurity within myself, and I started to wear long sleeved shirts. Anything I'd wear, even if it was this, I'd always add a chiffon layer to it so that I would hide that. And that was me not accepting, okay, these are the flaws that I have. So I would hide it. So those are the things that I'm talking about. Sometimes we wear clothing as a shield, as a cover-up, as a way of hiding. And when we hide ourselves, we then don't show up as who we're supposed to be in the world. So back to my story of me growing up in the church. There's layers to this, right? Stick with me. There's layers to this. So with that, that's now informed me that I've always feel some kind of way when I'm wearing trousers. I don't step out as myself because I've got this story running in the background that I'm not womanly enough if I'm wearing trousers. I'm not a woman if I'm wearing trousers. I'm not a woman if I'm wearing trousers. And that's the story that's been built up. And those are the things that I now need to break down. So now I do my best to try and find really gorgeous trousers that fit my body and flow with my body. And then back to the idea of making sure you shop when you are ovulating, ladies. That is at your peak. That is when your pheromones are at their high. That is when you're in your peak. And ladies who are over a certain age, you don't do that anymore. There's also certain times you need to kind of be aware of your cycle. Because even if you're not having any monthlies anymore, you are going to be experiencing some kind of cycle. So I always say shop when you're at your happiest. Shop during the time of the month when you're at your most excited. Shop when you are feeling lively. Like today, I did my hair and I did all of these curls in my hair, and I feel really gorgeous. I went to pick up this top from Zara, I might add, because I knew I was feeling in that kind of exuberant mood. And I knew the kind of look that I wanted to go for, which is why I picked up this particular top for this particular video, because I really wanted to show up as this woman right here for you. And I feel very flirty and very girly today. So that's just why I wanted to record this video in this same space. So with that said, let's put the pieces all together. So the psychological effect of your clothing on you when you go shopping is when you pick something when you're in a negative space, it carries that energy with it to when you wear it again. Haven't you ever felt like whenever you wear something, your mood kind of drops a little bit? And it's because you bought that when you're in a depressed phase, or when you're trying to make up for something, or when you're trying to cover up. And like, I do by all means try not to wear things that cover myself up too much, because once a part of you is covered, the rest of you wants to be covered. The rest of your femininity wants to be covered. The rest of your smile wants to be covered. You end up just covering parts of you that are just adorable. I'm sure I've talked about this before, about how I have a crack in my tooth, and it happened some time ago, and I had a feeling, but it fell out over the 2 years when we couldn't go anywhere. You know, them 2 years that I shall remain unmentioned. So now I'm having to go back to the dentist and kind of go through that whole rigmarole of booking. But then I went through a phase when I didn't want to smile because I saw the crack in my tooth and I wanted to hide that. It made me feel unattractive. And this is me just being honest with you, because those are the little things that build who we are. It made me feel unattractive. But then I had to remind myself that this is who I am. I cannot hide. And the thing is, sometimes the more we hide something, the more we attract someone who will pick on it. The more we attract someone who will attack that very thing that we have an insecurity about. So we have to be very careful as well in buying clothing when we felt at a low point, we're gonna attract other low point energy signals that come in the same frequency. So all I'm saying is just be very careful, ladies, when you go out shopping. Shop when you're at your happiest. Shop when you're at your most relaxed. Shop when you're at your most feminine, because that way you are able to spot things that bring out the true essence of you.
I created the Black Swan Nation because I wanted women from all over the world to be able to access on the point help with their dating and relationship needs. We have the expertise of our world-class coaches, including myself, supporting you ladies through your dating journey, to have access to live coaching without having to blow the bank. This, of course, we can only take a certain amount of ladies and support a certain amount of ladies, but I want you to know that you are currently welcome to the Black Swan Nation. You may end up on a waiting list, or you may get lucky and be able to get right into the Black Swan Nation, where we provide more insight, where we discuss more personal stories that will be of use to you. In the Black Swan Nation, there are no holds barred. It is unfiltered. It is only for the brave, because in the Black Swan Nation, we give you the raw truth. So all you have to do is follow the link on this video, and we will see you on the other side.
I really hope this has been a bit of a helpful video. I know sometimes we kind of do really short videos on YouTube, but I will be doing a little bit more of the longer videos that really delve into this thing, because I feel I've only just scratched the surface right now, and there's so much more I would love to talk about. But for now, I'm actually gonna stick the playlist at the end of this video, which is really to do about your styling. So have a look at some of the previous videos I've done that talk about your styling, and we'll delve in a little bit more and really use this time to, I guess, educate you educate you a little bit more about why you wear what you wear, because I've literally spent my whole life doing this, and it's so funny how now it's the one thing I use within this relationship academy to help you ladies really hone in on your style, so that you can show up as this high value feminine woman that you truly are on these dates, in your marriage, in your relationships. Because clothing does really matter. Clothing really does inform who you are and what you're about. But in the meantime, let me not ramble on for too long. I will see you in another video. Hope you have an amazing weekend, and I will see you next time. Remember, you are loved, and I will be back.
Well done for coming to the end of this video. What I want to ask you is, what have you learned? What is your takeaway, and what are you going to start practicing right away? Those 3 things are how you are going to get the best out of every class here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy. Please put it in the comments so that we can all have a look. So I can have a look, the coaches can have a look, and I promise you, we read every comment. We may not be able to reply to every comment, but we read all your comments, and we want to see how you are growing. And we will see you on the next video.